Hello, I'm Lani, and today I'm going to be talking about anxiety and why we have anxiety, how we get stuck in that horrible negative feedback loop, and what we can do to break through that. So, I moved to Bali in 2012, and I had somebody ask me, why did you start coaching? And I was like, oh yeah, I had a really big shitter. I went down to rock bottom, and then I got a coach, and I actually learned how to freaking step into my power and not be controlled by that voice of fear. And it worked. I could even cry. There's like so much beautiful emotion coming up. And I was like, I'm going to teach this. This is fucking amazing. So I have broken through so many limiting beliefs. And the reason I love to share what a disaster I was, this is like the way that I like to describe it. Have you ever seen 8 Mile with Eminem? I'll explain it to you if not, but it's a great movie. So the whole point of rap battles, we all know Eminem, right? The whole point of rap battles is to just like knock each other down, talk shit, like you always just want to take a jab and like cut each other down. So Eminem lived in a trailer park. His freaking friend was like a dum-dum who shot himself. His mom was a drug addict. His chick banged everybody. So that's what everybody would use against him. Like they would just say all the most horrible things and then he wouldn't really have anything to say back. So in the last rap battle, he comes out and he just freaking exposes himself. He says he lives in a trailer park. He says, yeah, my friend was a dum-dum and he shot himself. He says that his mom is an addict and his chick bangs everybody. And after he goes, the other rappers are all like, they can't even say anything. They can't put him down. He's just completely exposed himself. So I call it the Wonder Woman energy because I fully, when people ask me who my icons are, I'm all Buddha, Jesus, Tony Robbins, Eckhart Tolle, Wonder Woman, because I hadn't had any women role models who actually were totally sexy and strong and embodied. I kind of would jump back and forth to the really passive, like weak feminine, to the really strong masculine, crazy, just super controlling. So I had never fully brought it all together. I would jump back and forth and I would suffer in either state because I didn't have it all. I just had one part and was trying to force the other part or trying to feel sorry for myself and get the other part, always trying to manipulate the external to fill me up on the inside. So with me and my clients, I call that the Wonder Woman energy. And they come and they post and they share this Wonder Woman energy because I have this belief that nobody can hurt me. Once I've exposed myself, which I have, I'm not embarrassed of my past. I'm not embarrassed of telling you guys about all the mistakes that I made and what a disaster I was and how insecure. I always say to people, oh, what's someone going to come up to me and say, you were so insecure. I'm going to be all, and so bitchy, and you binge ate, and you use drugs, and you use Instagram to get attention from men, Yeah, I know. And look at what a fucking badass I am now. So it's fully the Eminem scenario. I saw that movie and was all, oh my God, that's what I do. I totally expose myself so nobody can hurt me anymore. So I think the most common way for us to bunch that in is anxiety. I can't sleep, oh, I can't get out of my head. And however way you want to word it, I always say it's not, the word isn't important, but it's such a trip. It's such a trip that our teachers, since the beginning of time, have all said every single person has an ego. Everybody has a fear of not being good enough. And again, however you specifically want to describe that, it's based on your childhood and the words that you heard growing up. But we all feel that way. Yet everybody's walking around going, oh, my problems are so special. Oh, I must be the only one that feels this way. Oh, it's so hard for me. And when I get clients and they finally, I call it this this light bulb moment where to me, it's as if this breath of life filled them and it's like, it's like they had been just suffocating and disconnected and there was no life. It was gray and hard and miserable like a zombie. And then all of a sudden, this breath of life comes in and they have the same experience that I had. And so I know what that awakening feels like. I remember being with a coach and talking to her and going, and I was fucked up at that point. I mean, God, I had nothing that I wanted. I was faking to everybody. My deal was I was a total perfectionist who couldn't take any feedback, who wanted attention from everybody. I was an achiever. I started getting straight A's as a little kid and being teacher's pet because that's how I got attention. That's how I got this exchange of, oh, I'm enough if they gave me attention. And I remember sitting there going through all of the horrible relationships, all of the pain that I had suffered with my family and everything horrible that I had gone through, and going, you mean I'm the one that's created that and manifested that, and I just felt that way within, and therefore that's the reality I created without? It blew my mind. I was in Bali and I remember driving home on my motorbike and feeling like I had been in this tiny little shoebox, and all of a sudden the sky cracked open and I actually really saw the world for the first time. It was so insane. And so when my clients have that same awakening, I know that you've heard before, everybody has an ego. Everybody feels like they're not good enough, but there's something so tricky about the ego and about that negative momentum. We have positive momentum and we have negative momentum. And there's something so tricky about that loop that we get stuck in. It's just this horrible nightmare, this loop, same shit, same patterns, same thought patterns that never worked for us in the past will never work for us tomorrow. The same behaviors that didn't work for us yesterday won't work for us tomorrow, and we're just stuck in it, yet we're busy. And this is the thing I hear from so many women, and this was my thing, but I'm so busy. Really, I didn't get shit done, let's get real. I was the biggest procrastinator, but I was so busy, and I was so exhausted, and I had no productivity. I had no focus, I didn't get anything done. I can clearly say that busy does not equal fulfillment. So it's this huge thing that women, these achievers, but I'm so busy. And I guarantee if I came to your damn house, I'd see that you wasted 80% of the day being in that negative feedback loop in your mind. I know your ass is scrolling. I know you have no energy and it takes you an hour to do something that I could do in 5 minutes, right? Without that focus, without the embodiment. When we're in that anxiety and that negativity, and when we're in this loop that's like, oh, it's so hard for me, oh, poor me, I'm the only one, that's a death sentence. That literally almost got me killed. And I speak to women every day, and I've never met another woman who was just born without it. Oh, I just don't have it. Oh, really? You don't have an ego? Nope. Perfect. It's just the way that it is. So I know that you've heard this a million times, and my clients all have done a million programs with therapists and coaches. But when you finally get it, when you feel it, when you embody it, when you're just like, hell yes, fuck yes. And for me, I get goosebumps and tears and my nipples get hard, and it's just a full body. It's a yes. So I know that the old Lani, the way I liked it, it's literally the old Lani. I was a different fucking person completely. And I do this with my clients. It's like, let's talk about the difference between the old you and the new you. And I'm always going to be, let's get real. You know how on our phones we always have a system update. I'm always going to be system updating this bitch, because I'm always going to want to be growing and getting better. I always will have a coach. I have a coach now. That's not going to stop. They're just things that need to be observed. And when we're stuck in this loop, we can't even see them. And so it becomes, it's fighting something that's not real and that's not true. We're stuck in this negative feedback loop in the mind. Yet our body is feeling it, because our body is doing its job. It's reacting to the fight or flight. Our mind thinks a deadly thought. Our body does its job and reacts, and we go into fight or flight. And so we're really feeling it. So I've spoken to so many women who have autoimmune diseases and they just wake up feeling horrible. I used to have chronic stomach aches, chronic headaches. And the pain was real, and I know. It's not that we didn't feel nauseous, throw up all the time, have no energy. One of my clients said that it was like a hangover, so it just depended. Someday it was a wine hangover, someday it was a full bottle of whiskey hangover. She didn't drink, but that's just how horrible she felt in the mornings. Sick to her stomach, dizzy, no energy, just crap, just total rock bottom. So we're going, the pain is real. The pain is real. Oh, I have made myself so sick before. Now I can see that I can go back and pinpoint the root of it in my thought pattern, because I know that if I get sick, it's because there was something to be triggered in there. There was something to be triggered. It wasn't random. It didn't just happen on its own. So I can go back and pinpoint the thought patterns that push me into this. I was sick with typhoid for months. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even walk up the stairs. I was so skinny and sick and weak and powerless, and my physical body just started projecting the internal state that I felt of powerless and weak and helpless and not worthy. I can totally pinpoint the thought pattern that started spinning me out, because it didn't just come out of nowhere. My body started with a little bit of a neck ache and a little bit of a stomach ache and a little bit of a headache, right? It started talking to me quietly, and then the screams came out, and full-blown typhoid or motorbike accidents or flus. I had it all. Chronic headaches, chronic yeast infections. I was always suffering. And now that I'm embodied and I go, oh my gosh, that thought pattern, yeah, I really felt the pain. I really got the sour stuff. I really used to put my yoga classes in child's pose because I thought I was going to go chunder in the back. That really happened. I really physically felt like throwing up all the time. And that's that, we feed it. It's like, oh my God, this is real. Oh my God, this is happening to me. Oh my God, I can't control it. Oh, I'm the only one. And so again, I love to say the mind is so tricky because we have all of these little stops along the way where we actually feed that behavior. Like, oh, it's not my fault. This happened to me, right? Some of those beliefs of mine was like, oh, I'm working so hard. Like, look how sick I am. I'm so exhausted. I'm crying after all my end of my day's work. I give so much energy. That's the most common one I hear from female coaches who were the achievers and the givers. I just give so much. I'm exhausted by the end of the day. I just have nothing. And that was me. But now I'm all, that's not love. That's not the truth. Being so exhausted and getting sick, how can that possibly be lifting anybody up? You know what it feels like when you walk in a room and someone's like, oh, so stressed out and just going up and down. And that doesn't make you feel good. You don't feel love when you feel somebody's desperate for attention and needy and a perfectionist, can't take feedback, improving and controlling. That doesn't feel like love. So I really had to take a step back. And again, I had a coach point things out to me that I couldn't see because I'd been doing the same thing for so long that I couldn't even see it anymore. Like, you ever walk by the most beautiful flower, say you see the most beautiful flower you've ever seen in your life, and you walk by it and, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And then the second day and third day, maybe the third day, you might think, oh, that's such a beautiful flower. 3 years later, you're not even going to see the damn thing. And that's what's beauty. Imagine that vice versa flipped and turning into negative momentum. So we do the same shit with our negative patterns. But again, I know when it's so simple to me, when somebody is unfulfilled and unhappy, I know that they're stuck in a negative feedback loop. I know that there's a thought that triggers it. I know that it's physically sitting in the body, and therefore the body pain is now feeding the thought pain, which again is feeding the body pain. And so it just keeps getting worse. It doesn't get better. It just keeps getting worse. And this foundation that we thought we had was so amazing was actually just a false high. Like I used to get from a coach or a dude or money, or it was just these false highs, and then I'd crumble through my fake foundation. I had no foundation. I was trying to build a mansion with no foundation. I didn't know how to embody. I didn't know how to get out of my head. I didn't know how to get out of that negative feedback loop. And it's not that I feel happy all the time. In fact, I've been filming all morning and working all morning, and as I went to set up the phone, I got a little grumpy and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do this today. But here's the difference. So the old Lani was looking for everybody else to feed her and make her feel good and tell her she was good enough, and you make me happy and you make me feel love and you give me this. So whereas now, when I get a feeling of uneasy because we're human, it blows my mind when people think that, oh, I'm going to get help and then I'm never going to feel pain again. I'm never going to feel an emotion again. And that's not what we do. We don't take it away and make you go all numb. We actually teach you how to deal with the emotions, because to me, whether it's grumpy or whatever, I know that I have the option to channel that into full love. I'm even getting teary just thinking about the powerful, limitless feeling of love and source. Like, that's what I get to channel a bit of, agitation or grumpiness to. So I sat for a minute and I'm all, okay, I know how to do this. This is what I do. This is what I teach. I'm a freaking expert at it. I'm a badass. And I go within, whereas I used to go without. And so I know that was a little bit of a negative feedback loop. So I'm going to identify that. And yeah, what happens is the energy drops. Of course, you don't want to do anything. Nobody wants to do anything, even if it was the funnest thing ever. If you have no energy, you're not going to want to do it, or it's going to be miserable. for sure. For me, going to the beach is one of my favorite things ever. That's why I moved to by all these beaches. And if I have low energy and I feel shit, there were like 6 months I'd go without surfing because I didn't have any energy. And it's like, it's one of my favorite things in the world. I love the warm, I love the ocean. It's so healing. In Bali, the water was so clear. I could see the fishies come up. The waves are perfect, like a wave park. It's like, that was amazing. And I didn't even want to do that. And I loved it. And I didn't have to pay for it, right? It's like, dude, we can sabotage anything when we get stuck in a negative feedback loop. And not to say that we're not really feeling like shit, not to say that your body isn't really hurting, and not to say that you don't really have energy. But there's a choice and a decision that we get to make, and there's a gap. So the dog shit and then Wonder Woman. And we get to close that gap. So every day, it's not that I feel perfect all day or I'm not human or I don't struggle with shit or have an ego. But when I start getting there, I know, oh, I ain't gonna feed that shit because I want to have an amazing day. I want to be in my body. I want to have orgasms. I want to help clients. I want to discover with my partner. I want to have fun. I want to laugh. I want to kick ass. I want to inspire. I want to have fun. So I know that I'm not going to feed that negative feedback loop, and then I make the jump. I go within. I take responsibility. It's not my partner's job to make me happy. It's not Sydney's job to make me happy. It's not the beach's job or Instagram's job, right? So I go within. So I made the jump, and I know how to come into my body, get out of my head, jump from that negative feedback loop, and then get into the positive one and connect to Wonder Woman energy instantly. And it's, I mean, even I get teary-eyed just thinking about the amounts of unconditional love and the beauty that is around, and the incredible feeling of being around empowered women and getting them connected and coming together. Another one of the biggest things I hear, I just heard this from a beautiful woman yesterday, and this was so the old Lani, and every woman that I've ever worked with, it's like, oh, well, when I get too successful or when I rise too high, the other women around, they get jealous, basically. They kind of cut me down. So I don't even do it. I don't even connect with women. I'm so sick of having this confrontation and this competition, and I don't want to deal with it. I'll just hang out with guys or I'll be alone. And I can totally resonate with that. I mean, the old Lani always was desperate for attention and connection, even when it was not love and miserable. I would rather choose to get shocked by somebody than fucking sit alone with my feelings. So I always was desperately seeking that, but I would blame, oh, the women are so jealous. Oh, dude, that was me. Those were my glasses. That was my insecurities. And I took it even more personal. And then that was just putting more weight on my negative feedback loop and more momentum. Oh, look, everybody's going to be jealous of you. You can't have it all. I just kept pouring in all these limiting beliefs and all these reasons why I couldn't. And see, she was so bitchy to me. Put that one in the negative feedback loop as proof why you can't have it all and why women are super competitive. So I was always desperately seeking this proof for why I wasn't worthy, why it couldn't work, why I couldn't do it, why it was too hard. And I just kept strengthening the negative feedback loop. Everybody loves to think of momentum as going forward, but absolutely not, right? That's why, again, if you have one thought of anxiety at nighttime, you don't just go to bed after. Dude, you can stay up for hours, or I've been up all night before with just so much anxiety in that negative loop. So one of the most beautiful things for me, and since I've been totally empowered, and I call it this orgasmic energy, and again, that when my women just get the aha, like the breath, the life. I talk about orgasmic energy a lot, and this is something that's weirdly, obviously, it still blows my mind that it's so taboo. I mean, my family members like, oh, anyone that talks about sex is a whore. And it's like, I'm talking about our God-given, beautiful, pure energy, our creativity. If you don't think talking about creativity is a whore's talk, then there's no difference between orgasmic energy, because it's really just this beautiful force that we are born with as women. We don't have to beg for it. We don't have to prove it. God damn, I wish I knew this ages ago. But it's ours. It's this gift. And I love saying, the more women, the more energy. So I only work with women, and I have this connection. And when there's this many women, I think this is the most powerful part of it, is we really, though, were built to have this sister connection. Like, we're so loving, and we have such big, compassionate hearts, and all we're doing is running around like, love me, love me, love me. And then we just keep getting rejected and proving to ourselves, see, I'm not good enough, and putting it in that proof pile and getting more negative momentum. And that's all that we want, right? But if we don't have the ability and the capacity and the strategies to get out of that negative feedback loop, we can't receive love. It's impossible. Sure, we might not be able to get hurt, but dude, that wall, it blocks love from coming in as much as it blocks pain from coming in. And when we can just fully, we're like these little kids who just want to freaking laugh and dance and have fun and share, and energy is real. Like, full on, we know, we get goosebumps. I'm sure you felt energy. My thing is when I watch somebody beautiful sing on X Factor or something, this happens with my clients all the time. So I'm always like, oh my God, if I just shaved, I can't go talk to my clients right now because I just always have goosebumps. So it's like prickly always. But when I watch somebody singing really beautifully on X Factor, I just fully get goosebumps and tear up. We know that energy is real. We also know that we can't be like, oh, how much did that energy weigh that you felt from that amazing singer? I don't fucking know. I can't wait. Well, what color was it? I actually do give my love and energy colors, but it's not that you would give it the same one. So we know that we can't weigh or give love a color or like measure it in the 3D dimension, but we know that we feel it, and energy is the same. So that's why some people we're around, we feel so good when we're around them. Like, for a moment, we're able to snap out of that mind feedback loop and just come into, the present, come into the body. And as feminine, this is our gift. We are healers. Just our energy, just being, it is our gift. We don't have to save, again, prove, beg. When we are embodied, and the energy can't stop here because, hello, our vagina's down here and we have a body. We can't do this without the body. When we come all the way down to yoni and through heart and all the way through, and there's goosebumps and we're alive, and the way I describe it, when we have this orgasmic energy and when it's just so pure and it's just so powerful that it brings tears to your eyes, there's nothing more powerful than that. It's amazing. And the fact that we can go from where I used to be, just miserable and at bottom and depressed, and jump to where I have the ability to harness this positive momentum and this embodiment and orgasmic energy that fast. It's just proof that anybody can do it. Again, just being grumpy before and being like, all right, come on, let's do this, dude. You know how, and wanting to do it, and getting to this moment here where I'm sharing my truth and my soul and connecting with you, and you're feeling goosebumps and you're feeling tears and you're like, fuck, this is real. I feel this. Like, how can it be any there? What's better? Like, how could there be another purpose of life besides for that? If one person can do it, anyone can do it. If one person can do it fast. I'm always interested in best case scenario, and okay, I want to do it better and stronger, because let's get even, more incredible. Best case scenario. It's so wild that we love to focus on the worst case scenario and, it probably won't work. Well, why not? It worked for me. I know many people that this worked for, and it worked fast. So my intention for you today is being really, really aware of what you're actually seeking out to prove to yourself and put on that shit pile, that trash pile, to just create more negative momentum. Like, I told you what I used to seek out, all the proof that I wasn't enough, all the reasons why everybody was against me, all the times where I failed and I couldn't do it anyway. So be really, really aware of that. And then I'll just encourage you to start changing the focus. There are a lot of great ways to shock the system, wake you up, break that pattern. I love dancing. If you've seen any of my social media channels, I live to dance. So dancing's a really amazing, simple one. So that's what I will inspire you with today. Stop that negative feedback loop. Be aware of what you're seeking, just to, even if it's not always true, we just want to match that I can't do it, feed the negative feedback loop, and break that pattern, right? Interrupt it, stop it. And dancing is such an incredible way to do that. So that's what I have for you today. I'll be coming in hot with videos once a week. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and I love comments. Let me know if there's anything you guys want me to talk about. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so excited to start this YouTube channel, and I will see you guys in a week.